Okay, number 16 looks like an area problem. Find the area of this parallelogram. Base times height. Just easy calculator work, right? We'll move way over here. So, turn the calculator on if we can figure that out. It's just 3.7 times 7.6. It helps if you type it in right. 3.7 times 7.6. 28.12. Easy stuff. Answer's A. 17. Rocking through these. Same thing. It's just going to be 33 times 36. Okay? Base times height. Remember, base and a height are always going to be perpendicular 90 degrees. So 33 times 36. 1188. Answer's A. 18. Base times height. It's a triangle though, so now it's 1/2 base times height. So it's going to be 1/2 5.4 times 2. So it's just going to be B, 5.4. 19. 1/2 base times height. Unless it says otherwise, we're going to believe that is the full base. So a triangle, there you have a triangle, 1/2 base, which is 10, times height. So 1/2 of 10 is 5. 5 times 3 is 15. Answer's D. 20. Alright, this is a trapezoid. A trapezoid, the area of a trapezoid is 1/2 the height times the sum of the bases. So 1/2, what's the height? The height's right here, 12.6. What are the sum of the bases? 19 plus 29.2. Again, that's just calculator work. So 0.5, because that's 1/2, times 12.6 times, get your parentheses, of 19 plus 29.2. 303.66. Answer C. 21. There's the height. Remember the perpendicular. So area of a trapezoid, 1/2 the height, sum of the bases. Alright, the height is 7. And the bases are 8 plus 12, which would be 20. So 1/2 of 7 times 20. Answer 70. D. Okay, we're rolling right through these. 22. Find the value of h in this parallelogram. Here's what we know. The area of a parallelogram is base times height. Does not matter which base or which height. So using the area we know, we got 27 times h is going to equal the area. We also know 36 times 24 is going to equal the area. So we can set them equal to each other because the area of the same object is the same size. So h is going to be 36 times 24 over 27. Okay, you can get your handy dandy calculator out, or you can just slash and burn. Alright, 27 can be factored by 9. 9 goes into 27 3 times. 9 goes into 36 4 times. So now I have a 3 on the bottom and a 4 and a 24 on top. 3 goes into 24 8 times. So 4 times 8 is 32. So my height, or my h value, is 32. Answer is A. And again, you could have done all that work in your calculator as well. 23. What is the... Okay, this one threw me for a loop because I don't have the instructions. What's the length of that side? It's a right triangle, so we can use Pythagorean theorem. So we know the hypotenuse squared equals side squared, side squared. So our hypotenuse is going to be the square root of a squared plus b squared. So what is our a squared value? Make it 6. So 6 squared. What's our b value? 8. 8 squared. So it's going to be the square root of 36 plus 64, which would be the square root of 100. And the square root of 100 is 10. Answer C. 24. Okay, we need to find A. So we know a squared plus 24 squared must equal 25 squared. So a squared must be 25 squared minus 24 squared. So a must be the square root of 25 squared minus 24 squared. Again, easy calculator work. So we're going to do the square root of 25 squared minus 24 squared, and we're going to close parentheses. Our answer is 7. A equals 7. So answer C. 25. We need to find the hypotenuse. So we know the hypotenuse is going to be the square root of 7 squared plus 8 squared. Square root of 49 plus 64. Square root of 113. Okay, answer C. 26. Let's look at it for a sec. We need to find this side. So we know, if you can remember, x squared is going to equal the hypotenuse squared minus the other side squared. So x is going to be the square root of 15 squared minus 6 squared. So x is going to equal the square root, well, 15 squared is 225. 6 squared is 36. So x is going to equal the square root of those two, the difference of those numbers. So x is going to be the square root of 181. No, 189, sorry. Okay, well, let's prime factor that. I know 9 times 21 equals 189. I know 9 breaks down to 3 times 3, and I know 21 breaks down to 3 times 7. So x equals the square root of 3 cubed times 7. I can pull out a 3, so it's going to be 3 times the square root of 3 times 7, which would be 3 square root of 21. The answer is B. Sorry, 27. Wayne uses the diagram to compute the distance from Ferris to Dunlap to Butte. How much shorter is the distance directly from Ferris to Butte than the distance Wayne found? So, mind you, it's not asking for the distance from Ferris to Butte. It's asking how much shorter it is. So first thing is we've got to find that distance. Well, the distance between Butte and Ferris is going to be the square root of 15 squared plus 20 squared. So what's 15 squared? What did we say? That was 225. And what is 20 squared? 400. So that distance is a square root of 625. So we know the distance for BF is 25. Okay, a lot of you would answer B and that'd be wrong. What's the shorter distance? So the one route was go through Dunlap, which would be 20 plus 15. So the distance from Dunlap going through Dunlap was 35. The distance going straight from Butte to Ferris was 25. So we subtract them, find the difference. So we actually saved 10 miles. So that one's kind of tricky, but the answer is C. '27, 28. A triangle has side lengths of 12, 14, and 19. Is it a right triangle? Well, to be a right triangle, 12 squared plus 14 squared must equal 19 squared. So that's easy calculator work. So let's just do 12 squared plus 14 squared minus 19 squared. If this equals 0, it's a right triangle. It does not equal 0. So the answer is no. 29. A triangle has side lengths of 10, 24, and 34. Classify this as acute, obtuse, or right. Okay. Well, short side plus squared plus short side squared, something c squared. Okay. If it's equal, it's a right triangle. If they are greater than c squared, it's acute. And if c squared is greater, it's obtuse. So we could just make an equation, say c squared minus a squared minus b squared. And that way, if it was positive, we know it's obtuse. If it was negative, it's acute. So let's do that. So what's our c? What's our biggest value? 34 squared minus 24 squared minus 10 squared. If it's positive, it's obtuse. If it's negative, it's acute. That's a positive number, so it's obtuse. So this equation right here, if it's positive, it's obtuse. If it's 0, it's right. And if it's negative, it's acute. So 29 answers C. 30. Find the length of the hypotenuse. Okay, this is a 45-45 right triangle. So if you remember our rules on 45-45, the short side, and the hypotenuse was the short side times the square root of 2. Well, our S equals 3 square root of 2. So our hypotenuse would equal 3 square root of 2 times square root of 2. Square root of 2 times square root of 2 is 2. So the hypotenuse would be 3 times 2, which would be 6. So again, remember your properties for 45, 45, 90 triangles. 31. Okay, well, what did we just say? Short side, square root times square root of 2 equals the hypotenuse, right? So short side times square root of 2 equals 16. So the short side equals 16 over the square root of 2. Well, we can't have square root of 2 as a denominator, so we're going to multiply the top, what we call rationalize, top and bottom by square root of 2. So I'm going to get 16 square root of 2 over 2, which I can rewrite as 8 square root of 2. Answer is B. '32. The area of a square garden is 50 meters squared. How long are the diagonals? Well, if you guys remember on rhombuses, the area of a rhombus is 1/2 diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. Well, what's true about the diagonals of a square? They're the same. So the area is going to equal 1/2 the diagonals squared. So the area is 50. So 50 equals 1/2 times d squared. So multiply 2 to each side. We get 100 equals the diagonals squared. So the diagonals equal the square root of 100, which would be 10. 33. Find x. Well, this happens to be a 30, 60, 90 right triangle. So let's look at the 30, 60, 90 rules. Okay, the short side, the hypotenuse is 2 times the horse side, and the length, or the long side, is the short side times the square root of 3. So I know the short side is 6, so the long side must be 6 times the square root of 3. 33 is D. Okay, 34. Okay, we know this is a 30-degree angle, so the hypotenuse is 20 times the square root of 3. So the short side would be half of that, because remember the short side is S, the long side is S times square root of 3, and the hypotenuse is 2S. So if I have the hypotenuse is 20 square root of 3 equals 2S, we know the short side is going to be 10 times square root of 3. So Y is 10 root 3. Alright, and X, because that's the short side, would be, so X would be Y times the square root of 3. So X is going to be 10 times the square root of 3 times the square root of 3, which would be 30. My answer is D. 35. Find X and Y. Well, if my short side's 17, X is my long side, so it would be 17 square root of 3. Y is my hypotenuse, so I just double it, so it would be 34. So X is 17 root 3, and Y is 34, so my answer is D. 36. My base of this thing is 10. I need to find the height and the base of the top. What do you notice? I have a triangle right here. It's a 30, 60, 90 triangle with a hypotenuse of 8. So what is this side going to be right here? Well, half of it, right? So that's 4. And if that's 4, what's the height? The height's the short side times square root of 3, so the height's 4 root 3. So I've got a lot of stuff. What about this top part? What is that length? Well, if the total length of the bottom was 10, and the base of that triangle is 4, 10 minus 4 would be 6. How about that? So we know the area of a trapezoid is 1/2 the height times the sum of the bases. So 1/2, the height is 4 square root of 3. The sum of the bases would be 10 plus 6, which would be 16. So our answer is going to be 32 root 3. Answer is D. 37. A kite has a diagonals of 9.2 and 8. What's the area? The area of a kite is 1/2 the product of the diagonals. So that's going to be 1/2 times 9.2 times 8. Well, 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 times 9.2 would be 36.8. My answer is A. 38. Find the area of the rhombus. Well, this diagonal 16, this diagonal 16, so the area is 1/2 16 squared, which is the same thing as 8 times 16, which is going to be 128. Given the regular polygon, find the measure of each numbered angle. Well, how many sides do we have in this thing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we know the measure of angle 1 is going to be 360 over 8. So 8 goes into 36 4 times. 40's left, 5. So the measure of angle 1 is 45. So we can eliminate C and D. We know all the triangles made in a regular polygon are at least isosceles, so the measure of angle 2 is going to be this: 180 minus 45, and all of that over 2. Okay, so what's 180 minus 45? 135, still over 2. So 67.5 is the measure of angle 2. Okay, the answer must be B. 40. Given the regular hexagon, find the measure of each numbered angle. Well, angle 1 is going to be 360 over 6, so it's 60 degrees. Well, the thing about hexagons is they make equilateral triangles, so the measure of angle 3 is 60 degrees as well. The measure of angle 1, as we already said, was 60 degrees. The measure of angle 2 is half of that, so the measure of angle 2 is 30 degrees. So 60, 30, 60. Answer C. (41) Find the nearest area of a regular hexagon with an apothem of 16.5, a side length of 19. Well, the area of any regular polygon is 1/2 ANS. The apothem, the number of sides, and the side length. So 1/2, our apothem is 16.5. Our side length is 19, and a hexagon has 6 sides. So we get a handy dandy calculator out for this one. It's going to be 16.5 times 19 times 6 divided by 2. 940.5. Okay, I don't see an answer that looks like 190 or 940.5. D's close enough for us. We'll go with D. 42. Find the area of a regular hexagon with the side length of 8. Round your answer to the nearest tenth. Okay, regular hexagon. We know each triangle for regular hexagon is going to be an equilateral triangle. Okay, so we know the number of sides is 6. We know the side length is 8. So we need to find the apothem. The apothem is going to be this part right here. Well, we know it was an equilateral triangle, so we know that's 60. If we split that in half, we know that's 30. So using our 30, 60, 90 principles, we know the apothem is going to be the short side, which is half of 8, 4, times the square root of 3. So there we go. We have everything we know. So the area of this is going to be 1/2 ANS, which is 1/2 times 4 root 3 times 6 times 8. So handy dandy calculator work. So we got 0.5 times 4 times 6 times 8 times the square root of 3. Enter. 166.27. Answer is B. 43. Find the area of the regular polygon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's got 8 sides. Okay. So I have a side length of 10. I have 8 sides. So I need to find the apothem. What's the base of that? 5. So there's a couple of different ways I could attack this. I've got to find the apothem. I can make a small triangle right here. That'll give me the apothem. And here's the cool thing about it. I can use Pythagorean theorem for the apothem. So the apothem squared plus 5 squared must equal 13.07 squared. So a squared is going to be equal to 13.07 squared minus 5 squared, which is 25. So A is going to be the square root of 13.07 squared minus 25. Looks like calculator work. Square root of 13.07 squared minus 25. 12.07. So our A value is 12.07. So our area equals 1/2 A and S, which is 1/2 12.07 times 8 times 10. So it's going to be 40 times 12.07. So we're going to be looking at basically 482 inches. So the answer is D. 44. Name the minor arc. Find its measure. Well, the minor arc's easy. It's just AB with the 115. The answer is B. 45. Name the major arc. Well, there's only one major arc possible. ADB. And the measure of arc ADB would be 360 minus 50, which would be 310. Answer C. 46. Find the circumference. Well, the circumference of a circle is just pi times diameter. If it says leave it in terms of pi, it would just be 5.7 pi. Answer is D. 47. Find the circumference. The circumference is 2 pi r. So this one would be 2 times 18 would be 36 pi. 47, the answer is B. 48. Find the length of arc XPY. Is going to be equal to, well, if we know this is 90 degrees, this has got to be 360 minus 90, so 270 over 360. That's the fraction or the percent of the circle it is. And then what is the circumference of a circle? Well, 2 times the radius, which is what? 8 pi. Okay, that's going to simplify to 3/4 times 16 pi, which that should simplify to 3 times 4 pi, which should be 12 pi. Answer is B. 49. Find the area of the circle. Leave your answers in terms of pi. Now it's the area. The area of a circle is pi r squared. So 3.6 times 3.6. Okay. So 6 times 6, 36. Carry the 3. 6 times 3 is 18. Carry the 3, 21. And then 3 times 6 is 18, 10. So my answer is going to be 12.96 pi. Answer C. 50. Find the area. Pi r squared. Okay. Well, what is the radius? It's half the diameter. So the area could be pi diameter over 2 squared. So it's going to be pi times 2.05 squared. And when you do the calculator work, you're going to get 4.2025 pi. Answer is A. Last two for this section. 51. Find the probability that a point chosen at random from AK is 1 on segment CJ. Well, let's find out what the length of AK is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So AK, the length of AK is 10, so that's my surface or sample space, so that's the denominator. And we want it to find the probability of landing on CJ. Well, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 out of 10 opportunities, or a 7%, 70%. My answer is D. 52. Find the area of the triangle. Leave your answer in simplest radical form. Okay, we got a few different ways we could attack this problem. So let's think about what we could do. We know this triangle is an isosceles triangle. So we know this base must be 9 and 9. So how can we find the height of the triangle? Well, we know we have two right triangles with a hypotenuse of 10 and one base of them is 9. So I could say in my one triangle, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, a squared is, let's say, our height. We don't know what it is. Our b squared is our base, which would be 9 squared. And our hypotenuse is 10 squared. So a squared is going to equal 10 squared minus 9 squared, which would be 100 minus 81. So a squared equals 19, so a equals the square root of 19. So what's the area of my triangle? Well, the base is 18. The height we know is now the square root of 19. And then we got to multiply it by 1/2. So the area is 1/2 base times height. We figured that base to be 18. That height, using the Pythagorean theorem, is square root of 19. So my total area is going to be 9 root 19. My answer is D. That concludes this video portion. The next one will cover 53 through 71.